Denny, good afternoon.
Have you been on my Friday call before?
I've never. I'm excited to be on this one.
Yeah, so we have a little more time. We go a little bit more in depth. And appreciate you being on. Where's the now typically didn't you have your team with you on some of these calls in the past?
We did. Timing wise, makes more sense for me to be here, jump on the call at 9:30, and then I can go do my appointments afterwards.
Where's the rest of the team?
They're in Winter Haven.
But being at one time they were all in the office. What happened? They give up?
I don't know. Jason does a great job on running his business. So
So it's Jason's team, right?
yes,
Was he not getting value from it?
I believe he is.
Well, that's good.
I love the calls. I've gotten better. Let's just say that.
Good. Wow. Here they come.
Hi,
Hey, Arne, how are you?
good. How are you?
You look nice today.
Thank you.
1 o'clock coming up right about now. Well, John will be with us in a moment. I'm actually the host here for a while. In fact, Arne, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Are you
You cut out.
at a computer?
Yep.
Let's go here. Make co-host, I think. Yeah, you be co-host. You can let people in for me, okay?
Alrighty.
We've got Carlos. Welcome, everybody. Denny Grimes here. It is Friday. And who doesn't like Friday? And what does Friday mean? Friday is our mastery level roll call. This call, we go another step down. We spend a little bit more time digging into the psychology and the strategy of conversations. So today is July 28th. It is an important day. And again, what we like to practice here, if you're new or if you're watching us on YouTube, is question-based listening enhanced conversations. Now, we've started this the last couple of weeks. If you'd like to participate, raise your hand. You can be an agent. You can pick your objection. We can go potluck. There's a couple of things that I'd like to work on today. If you'd like to work on it, and one of the ones that came up in the past week, I haven't heard in a while, is that somebody calls in and wants to work with a listing agent. Can you get them off that track? So, and then I'll have a drawing, and maybe about every other week, we'll put your hands, whoever raised their hands, even if you don't get to play, I'd be happy to give you a free 30-minute coaching call. If you haven't been to my Mastery YouTube channel, you can go. It's free. I've got over 200 videos there of samples of role plays and conversations. So here we go. So let's get started. One more thing, we've got a lot of Recon buddies here. Recon is something that Keller Williams has started, which I'm a member of, or an agent for, and that is the number, the Zoom number. If you want a little dab, will do you. Like 1 a day vitamins. Recon is every day. It is 9:30 to 10 Eastern time, 8:30 to 9 Central time. Please join us for that as well. All right, so we're getting ready to start. I see some hands up. Arne, you're going to be my co-host, and you can help be Vanna White if you want to, and say who's got their hand up and who's ready to go with our role play.
I didn't see who was first, but Louise
were,
is right
Arne.
next to me.
You were the first hand raised, Arne.
I was.
So Arne, you are the first then. Then let's go. You know the model. So would you like to have the, you work with buyers predominantly, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this would be a good one for you. Let me get to my timer. And let's see, I think it's coming up here. There it is. All right, so I'm calling in, and I'm going to ask if you're the listing agent, and you're not, right?
Okay.
And let's see how you handle. Have you ever had a buyer want to work just with the listing agent?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So let's go ahead and attempt that. So I'm going to be a call in. You're going to handle me as a call in. Let's see if you remember the steps of getting the name, getting the number, etc. And then I'll throw the objection on you. We have 3 minutes. Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Arne.
Yes, Arne. Hi, my name is Denny Grimes, and I was calling on a house over there on 111 Banana Hammock, and I just wanted some information on it. If you could help me, please.
Absolutely. What would you like to know, Denny?
Well, first of all, I'm going to start your timer here. First of all, I'd like to know if, before I go into the questions, I'd like to find out, I wasn't really sure, are you the listing agent on that house?
No, I am not, but I can get in touch with them if you have any questions.
Oh, okay. Would you mind sharing with me the listing agent's number then, please?
I would need a minute to get over to my computer and look it up, but what questions do you have in the meantime while I start looking at it?
Yeah, I want price information, this, that, and the other, and you know, some specific things about the seller that most likely the listing agent would know. I mean, we bought a house a few years ago, and we worked through the listing agent, and we'd like to be able to do that again. So if you have that information, that'd be hunky dory.
Yeah, absolutely. And could I ask you, other than wanting to work with the listing agent, because they would have all the information, is there any other reason you don't want a separate buyer's agent representing you?
Well, I mean, there's no way a buyer's agent knows everything about the house. And there's always, we had a really good experience last time with all the information. We saved a few bucks. So that's the way we want to do it.
Okay, so would it surprise you to know that when you work with a listing agent, it sort of ties their hands as far as how much information they are allowed to give you?
What do you mean?
Well, in the state of Nevada, when you work with the listing agent to also purchase the home, it's what we call dual agency. And when we enter into dual agency, we are only allowed to reveal what's called material facts. So only things that are relevant to the home and to the purchase. So if there was anything else that you wanted to know, like their motivation, any personal information, the listing agent actually really can't give that to you anymore, because now that they're representing both sides, they're only allowed to tell you things that pertain to the home and the transaction. Whereas a buyer's agent, I can ask the listing agent as many questions as I want.
Well, that she can't disclose that to you then, can she?
Well, because I'm not in a contract with her and she's not representing me, she can. And usually when I call the listing agents, they're pretty open.
So the listing agent can share that information with you, but they can't share it with me.
Not if they are representing you, no. No, legally we can only reveal information that pertains to anything with the home or the transaction.
Okay, so I'll give you a couple extra seconds. I'm going to go one more objection. Well, okay, well, yeah, well, all right, let's just stop there. Now, how did you feel about that?
Not bad, but I could do better.
Okay. Any comments from anybody else out there on how we have some regulars that can comment? This is how we grow. What struck you?
There was also another question I wanted to ask you, but I didn't know how far we were in time.
Okay, well, oh yeah, because they're right, because I should leave my phone on. I'm sorry, and my camera on. So what questions do you want to ask?
Did you know that when you work with a buyer's agent, you will have somebody who is negotiating on your behalf and protecting you completely in the transaction? If you work with the listing agent, they were hired by the seller first. So their first obligation is to the seller. So do you think that they're going to negotiate for the lowest price if that's what you're looking for?
So let's take a second. And let's chart this off. This is one thing I have the opportunity to do in mastery because I have a little bit more time. Now, you guys, if you have, I want you to participate here. You can turn your cameras on, you talk a little bit. I want us to look at this graphic because the model we follow is acknowledge, isolate, answer, close. And part of the isolation is to clarify. That's first base. Second base would be motivation. So when someone says that I want to work with a listing agent only, I'm not talking about the motivation of necessarily of why they want to buy a house. I'm talking what would be their motivation for wanting to work with a listing agent generally.
Save money.
Yeah, and you were off. You hung up last week. You were supposed to hang on and get a coaching call. Man,
The real motivation is they're trying to save money.
yes, that most likely they're trying to save money. Now, other things can be, like I said, they know more about the seller. They might have more information about the house, blah, blah, blah. I think 90% of the time they want to save money, right? So one of the ways that they make handling these conversations easier, if you know in advance what their motivation is and what their pain is. So let's talk about what's the pain by them choosing to work with the listing agent. Arne, you had the first one, which is what?
That they can't reveal any other information outside of material fact.
Right. Now, in our conversation, that was a kind of you're technically right. However, was a very technical, you'd have to find a way to shorten that because most people don't quite understand all of that. Mm-hmm. That is a pain, right? They can't share certain information because of dual agency, and that's different every. What's another level of pain, you guys? Anybody?
Negotiation.
Negotiating the money.
All right, let's talk about negotiation. What do you mean by that? So write these down. You've got the
negotiation.
Yeah, so you've got disclosure of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got negotiation. What do you mean, Louise?
The listing agent was hired by the seller to get them the best outcome. So how are they going to get you a great outcome if they're hired to represent the seller and get them the best outcome?
Well, they'll be representing me as well, right?
Not to the same degree.
Well, I mean, it's not like if you're a dual agent, you can't be like, well, I'm a dual agent, but I'm 51%, 49%. That wouldn't be right. So how do you combat that?
The listing agent isn't able to, again, to get at Arne's point, disclose. The listing agent has a confidentiality requirement to the seller. Denny, can you see how that may not be to your advantage?
Well, okay, I don't want to get lost in the weeds here. However, let's make it, I hear what you're saying. Tell me in a way a customer might really understand this legal mumbo jumbo. Let's leave legal out.
Denny,
Yeah.
are you confident that the listing agent representing the other side will be 100% upfront with you?
What do you mean?
Do you think the listing agent, which is an interested party in the sale, will be 100% upfront with everything with you? Do you feel absolutely confident?
Well, I feel pretty good about it because I think I'd have a leg up. I would think that the listing agent would want to work with me so she could or he could have the listing and have the sale at the same time.
Right. But do you feel confident about them disclosing every single fact, just not to make the sale, just to make the sale happen?
Well, what assurance would I have that you as a buyer's agent would disclose all the facts because you want to make a sale too?
Well, my job is to get, yeah, you're right.
Okay, here's
Stop
one.
here now.
Here's one. Denny, if the listing agent was hired to get the most money for the seller and you want a buyer agent to cause you to pay the least amount of money, who do you think is going to get the best outcome there?
Well, again, the buyer is going to default to their perception is that the listing agent will cut them a deal and they're going to save money. So here's one way, there's one more pain I want you to know, and then we'll go back to this role play. So hang with me.
Can I try one?
Hang on. This is how I would explain it. So let me ask you something. I'll go to you because I'm looking at you right now, Arne. Arne, so you are the buyer and I'm the buyer's agent, right? And so
Mhm.
if you work with me, if you want to work with the seller, now the seller's agent would be meeting you today, correct?
I don't know.
If you
I hope
talk to
so.
them today, if you talk to them today, your relationship has just been formed, correct?
Yeah,
When did they form the relationship with the seller?
a while back, I guess.
How far back?
I don't know.
Could it have been a week?
Maybe.
A month? Could it be a past customer? Could it be somebody in their family, a referral from their boss? So my question is this. Who has the greater, when there's a decision to be made and it could affect you positively or negative, or someone positively or negatively, who are they going to lean towards? See, that's the only picture I'm attempting to paint. Now, is that somewhat easier for them to understand than getting into agency? Most agents don't even understand agency. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. That is a great way to get that picture across. There's one more pain, and I think it's the big one. Does anyone want to take a wild stab?
I want to take it. I want to take it, Denny.
Okay.
Another pain could be, well, you like this house. What if there's similar house at the better deal? But you're only working with the listing agent, with he's interested in selling this house to you. By hiring a buyer's agent, you're going to be exposed to many more options to be able to compare.
No, I will just.
What if I can find you a house that is a better deal?
I can just call the listing agent. I mean, if you know about the home, I don't know about the home. I'll see the sign goes up. I'll go to Zillow. I'll call the listing agent on that one too.
That's fair. That's fair. And Danny, let me ask you a question. If I'm a listing agent and I have a contract, will I be more willing to work with people? Oh, wait, where am I going? I'm stuck now. Well, I was just going for the option where, well, there could be other options but you only stuck with this one house.
Here, I think is the biggest pain. And watch this, and I think you'll get it. So let me ask you, just role play with you, Jen.
Okay.
So you're going to work with a listing agent, right?
Yes.
When will you know a house is listed so you can call the listing agent?
I'm just going to look up on Zillow. I'm going to see it, and then I want to call the listing agent.
Okay. So when you see it on Zillow, which is when it becomes active, right?
Yes.
Well, do you know what happens? Who do you think knew about the house for sale that was going to be for sale first?
The listing agent.
And what do you think the listing agent would do? What would you do if you were a listing agent and you had a new listing coming on the market in 10 days to 2 weeks? What would you do?
I would probably let people know about it, other agents.
Yeah, you would let your buyers know about, right?
Yeah.
Of course, yes, you would let them know. And then if that didn't work out, you know what they do next? They'll let their office mates know because it's good for their brokerage.
Right.
And then they might post a little coming soon on their socials. So my question to you, Jenny, is do you want a home, one of the best homes, or do you want a home that really nobody else wants?
No, I want the best home and I want a great deal on it.
Well, if it goes through the agent's customer database, the office customer database, the social database, and all those buyers are saying no, 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 that means basically it's not a great property, right?
Yes.
How would you like to get ahead of the game? How would you like to be amongst the first to know?
Yes, I would like that. That makes sense, actually.
So now, does that make sense to you? I think that's the biggest pain, is that they're never getting first in line. Never. Now, the interesting thing is if they go with a one agent, they won't always be first in line, but they will be first in line for some, right? Because, you know, and particularly you say you leverage the office because now you're going to be able, particularly if they sign a loyalty agreement by contract, you're going to have to let them know about the home first. So let's go through this replay again. I don't know who's next, Arne.
Denny, I'm sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
Can you tie in motivation on how you would enter that type of questioning for that person who called you?
Well, motivation would be, could always be tied in. For example, so how do you mean that? Would be like, how soon would you like to be in a home?
Got it. Because I don't think I heard that in the conversation when you were role playing. And like, how do you tie in that motivation?
Well, here, I don't know. And I covered motivation. What's their motivation for wanting to work with a listing agent? I think the primary conversation has to be around that concept before you go into, all right, tell me now you're going to go into discovering what kind of house you're looking for. I think if you go into that kind of discovery before you settle the issue that they should not be working with a listing agent alone, I don't think they're going to have time for you. They'll say, why am I going to talk to you about this? I want to talk to the listing agent. By the way, if you're with a team, and my team answers the phone all the time, and all the listings are in my name, guess what? When they call into my office and they say, are you the listing agent? Guess what the answer is? Yes, we are. So who's next, Arne? Who had their hand up next? Let's do this again. We'll go back to the timer and let's get to the pain. Why does it do that?
I'm too slowly.
Jane is that?
Jane?
Is it?
Jane. Oh, you know what? We have different screens. You might see a different person.
Jane?
So I thought Louise was next. But it could be Jean. I think you both kind of raised your hands at the same time. So Denny, you pick.
Jean's got it.
Just pick one. It's all right. It's all right. Let's go.
Okay, Denny, I'll be the client, and if you can be the agent, and it's just a simple one about we're sitting in a listing appointment, and you just want to think about it. You just want to take time to think about it and take that time.
Hang on there. We're going to come to that next. I want to do this one more time. The one we just practiced. Gene, we'll come right back to that. So Mindy, you're on my screen. You want it? All right. Louise, you want it?
That's why I took my hand down, so someone else could go first. Joe's raising his hand now.
All right, Joe, you ready? Joe, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I don't know if my timer will work on this mode, but that's right. I'll get my timer going here. All right. So I'm going to, I'm just going to cut to the chase. Hey, Joe, I calling on this listing. Are you the listing agent on it?
Sure. Yes. How can I help you?
Are you really?
Oh, well, you said to say it. All right, fine. No, I'm not the listing agent, but how can I help you?
Well, I wanted some information on it, and I thought it was your number. At least your company has this house listed. I would like to be able to talk to the listing agent. So who is the listing agent on Banana Hammock Road?
Banana Hammock Road. I don't have their listing information in front of me, but what I can do is I can reach out to them on behalf. What are you hoping to find out?
Well, some questions I have, obviously I can look up the price, but I need some of the details in the inside, some measurements, if what the sellers are willing to take, that type of thing. And, no disrespect to you. I'm sure you know your listings well. I just had a better luck working with the seller's agent. So if you can have that, that's great. If not, I'll find it in Zillow.
Okay, got it. Sounds like you want to work directly with the agent so you can get a better deal here.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. Now he went right to that rather than just ask me the question. So, well, yeah, I think I could get a better deal. Let's see how he turns.
That makes a lot of sense, Denny. Can I ask, are you looking for investment properties right now, or is this a place for you to live?
It's going to be where we live.
Okay, got it. Well, yeah, I can definitely connect you with that agent. I will warn you that they are bound and required to bring the very best deal possible to their sellers. And if they're not working for you, that did you know that you can have a free buyer's agent?
Yeah, well, I mean, but you don't, I mean, I just think I read somewhere where it's better to work with a listing agent because they'll generally share on the commission. So I'm looking for a better deal.
55 seconds.
That makes sense.
Thank you, Arne.
Denny, I'm curious, have you ever seen someone defend themselves in court?
Well, I watched Judge Watner. Is that what you mean? I think Joe froze. Joe. He's frozen. That's what happens when you drive. He'll come back on. Joe, when you get to a place, even if you have to turn your camera off, all right? We'll come back to you. We're going to go back to Gene.
I'm still here. I'm in a tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Denny.
That's okay. I've watched Judge Wapner. So what do you mean?
Well, when you defend yourself, right, you're saving money by not hiring an attorney, right?
Yep.
Do you think that's the best best strategy to get out of trouble in court?
Let me just share something with you. Now, everyone's going down a very complicated road on financing, getting the best deal. I think the easiest road to go down is, do you want the house you want to be able to have first dibs on a house, or do you want a house nobody else wants? You ask the question. I think it just lays in their brain like, well, what do you mean? Now you have the opportunity to explain it. Maybe that's just me. Does anybody else have a feel like that might be the easiest way to do it?
But they're still interested in the house they're calling you about.
That's okay.
Aren't you trying to get them to hire you as their buyer agent for the house they're inquiring about?
Well, sure, but again, I think getting them, what is the probability this house is going to work out for them? I'm just assuming it probably isn't. And I'm also putting a little bit of color on the fact that this house buyers have already said no to this house, maybe a dozen times. So it may not be that awesome of a house, but wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want someone to be in your corner to let you know that? You think the listing agent is going to let you know? No, they just want to make the sale. So anyway, so that's a valid point, but I think those are the three areas of pain: disclosure, negotiation, and basically they're never first in line. Anyway, I wanted to cover that in case you get it. And one more point before we go to Gene. We created that ourselves during COVID because we wanted to sell our own listing so bad. That's what we did. And we basically taught buyers to come to us, and many agents would give them a better deal. Well, we kind of get what we deserve.
Denny,
Yes.
what does it mean? You're never, I didn't get that.
So you didn't get what?
You're
Janet,
never going to be first in line. It doesn't make any sense.
I'll tell you offline if you want, Janet.
Okay.
I
Thank
can
you.
call you after this.
Okay, carry on.
Danny, I have a question.
Yep. Hi.
Would a potentially transitional line work more along the lines of saying, hey, Denny, is it okay if I tell you what I find other people in your situation doing?
I'm listening.
Well, I find that a lot of times that when somebody is calling about a house and they're wanting the listing information, they're really wanting information that is going to be helpful to them. So is it okay if I provide that information to you? And perhaps I'm able to help dig deeper than a listing agent would with you to help get you to where you're wanting to go on this property. Is that okay if I help you with that?
Sure.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is just find out a little bit about what information you're wanting to know about this house.
Okay. And I like that. And it gave me another thought, another domino. And by the way, because I'm kind of a neutral third party here, in our conversation, I might be able to tell you about other homes that aren't even on the market yet that the listing agent probably wouldn't tell you about because they want you to buy what? Their listing. So that would be a great transition. Nice input. Nice input. All right, Gene, Mr. 72 sold.
Hey, I just the basic objection, I'll be the client, just think about it. I just want to think about it, Denny. I need some more time to think about it. I just want to wait and think about it.
Are you a buyer or seller?
I'm a seller,
All right.
right,
and-
the listing appointment,
All right, so we are at the end of the listing appointment.
correct.
All right, go. All right, Gene, so are you ready to move forward?
I really just need some time to think about it.
Okay. And what do you need? What would you like to think about, Gene?
Yeah, just really need some time, I think, just to kind of chew things over a little bit.
Well, see, now we're at the end of the listing appointment. There, most likely I would have some sense of their motivation. So right now I don't. At the
Right,
listing
sure.
appointment, I would. So let me back up a little bit and ask a couple of questions that I would probably ask in the listing appointment. So I would go back to our little thing here. So Gene, thanks for having me over. So you're thinking about selling your home. What are you going to be doing next?
Moving to the other side of the city here to be close to the grandkids.
Awesome. And when would you like that to happen?
Well, we're thinking, we're ready to get things going here now. So, closing probably in the next month.
1 month. And so, when I talked to you on the phone, I'd ask if you were interviewing other agents, and you said that wasn't the case. Is that true? Is that still the case?
Correct. Yep. You're the only one that I'm talking to right now.
Okay. And so also, let me just ask you, if everything goes right today, everything you hear goes right today, are you prepared to put me to work for you today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rush into it, but yeah, I know. I think if we feel like you're the right person, I don't want to rush into it, but yeah.
Now, you see, when you ask a couple of great questions like that going forward, now when you get fast forward to the end of it, he wants to think about it. What conclusion can I draw?
That there's something that you said that he didn't agree with.
Or I didn't say.
Good question.
However, if you don't ask that going forward and you get to this point, I mean, I think you're kind of flying blind. So Gene, you said you want to think it over. So that leads me to believe that I didn't answer a question right, or you still have a question we didn't talk about. Which is it?
I guess it's yeah, I just like to wait before I make a quick decision, a decision of this magnitude. I just like to kind of sleep on it.
When I ask, now this is how I ask this very carefully. Well, earlier you said if things felt right, you would be willing to go forward. And again, I'm not going to pressure you into doing something you don't want to do. However, it's my job to make sure that I'm fully understanding your situation and I'm putting myself in the best light to serve you. What happened to make you hesitant? Now, I'm going to just stop there. I mean, I'm flying. This isn't memorized stuff. This is just rolling off my brain.
Yep.
That I would ask something. Now, did that feel threatening at all? I'm attempting not to be threatening or saying, doggone it, you said you would, now you're not. What the heck's the problem?
No, I thought it was good. I like the way you set it up with the not pressure you comment in there to kind of recognize that. And you're saying about my job, it's like my job is to fully understand.
Right. And so I might then, okay, so I asked the question, I'll let you answer it.
Say that again.
Well, I mean, I asked the question of what changed? So let me ask you different. What other than, I understand, look,
yeah,
we can do everything right now. And if you don't feel right in the morning, we can rip it up. Would that work for you?
Yeah, I think that probably work for me.
Now, is that a mini win?
Yeah.
So that's how, does that help you at all, Gene?
Yes, it does.
When the issue is, and the more experience you get, the better questions you ask up front. Like, for example, like the last question I would ask you, if you're still a little bit hesitant, let me ask you, Gene. And I would be doing this. I would be closing my notebook. Now they're feeling like, okay, he's going to let me out of this little trap. What could I have said? Or what could I say now to make you feel comfortable enough to move forward, knowing that we can rip it up tomorrow?
Yeah, I think if we can rip it up tomorrow, I think I'd be good.
Okay. Pretty nice guy. Thank you for that. That was good.
No, it's awesome.
All right. Who's next? Thank you, Gene.
Mindy.
Where are you, Gene?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. God. Who's next?
And it is summer here, by the way, from your comment last week.
Yeah. Well, for a day.
It's Mindy.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? I got hands up.
It's me,
Who?
Mindy.
Mindy.
Mindy, you didn't want the other one, so what do you want now?
I need to sharpen my saw on FISBOs.
All right, Jenny, you're the FISBO. She's the agent. Let me get Marnay, if you'll be the timer, that'd be great.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Go.
All right. Hi, is this the owner of 123 Middle Street?
Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah, hi, my name is Mindy Doppler Nelson. I'm with Keller Williams Realty here locally, and I saw your home is being sold by yourself, and I was hoping to get some more information for my buyers. Would that be okay? Do you have a second to talk?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Great. Are you paying a cooperating fee to agents who bring a buyer?
What do you mean?
Are you willing to pay a buyer's agent fair market value to bring a buyer to you to sell the property?
I offer 1%.
1%?
Yes.
I see. Okay. And when would be a convenient time for me to come by and preview it for my clients?
Do you have a client for my house? Because I don't want any sales pitch.
I understand. I do have a specific buyer in mind that I think is a perfect fit for your home. And then I have some additional buyers that I would need to pre-screen as well to see if it's going to be a good fit. So I'll know better once I see the property. Do you have time today at 3 o'clock, or would tomorrow at 10 be better?
Tomorrow at 10, I think would be better. Are you okay with taking 1%?
I'll have to talk with my buyer and see if they're willing to pay the difference. I think that we can make something work, but I will see you tomorrow at 10.
Okay.
So what was the time on that, Arne?
She had 1 minute and 12 seconds left.
Good. Well, get to the point, get the appointment. All right. So anything you'd like to redo on that? And I'll give you a couple little things. Maybe somebody else has something to say.
That 1%, I'm like, oh crap.
I actually had a FISBO tell me that, so.
and I sold a home.
Okay.
And I brought a buyer and had that. So yes, and my buyers did pay the difference.
Well, that'll be the issue. So the only thing that I thought you did get good getting to the point. Now, again, I know that I think we role played this early in the week, or you have a buyer that wants to get in something and you have a hard time getting blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's the same one. So you got to the point right away. You do have a legitimate buyer that you want to see it. I don't really think that the discussion, and this is the way my Blake is on it. And again, I'm hit. I don't know. I don't think on the phone was the time to deal with the 1%. Well, I'll have to check and see if my buyer's going to pay the difference. I don't think that comes into it at all.
Okay.
I think if you're making calls to unassisted sellers, you should have an agreement already with your buyers that they're going to make up a difference. And if they're not, then, you know, that may not be a primary buyer you want to work with because
Well, but I do. I
Okay.
do. It's
I know.
just, that's a bigger difference than we typically would see.
well, okay, so that would be an upfront conversation if that, basically that your fee will be X. And they will make up any part of the fee short of X. Meaning if the unassisted seller said 0, your buyer would be willing to make up the whole fee.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's the only thing I would see of that whole conversation because it was pretty snappy. I wouldn't get in a tit for tat on the 1%. I would say, yay, you just saved your buyer 1%, because here's the deal. We said this already once this week when we're doing recon, the buyer's paying the commission anyway.
Right.
So I thought it was a good call.
Denny,
Yes.
so I don't know about you, but like I've tried calling FSBOs and it doesn't sit well with me to tell them that I have a buyer when let's say, even if I had a buyer and it didn't work, I'm showing up with an intention that I have a buyer, and how can I further down follow up and list them if there are, do you know what I mean? Like, is there another avenue? Because I'm not comfortable with lying to people in the first place trying to get in, because then, you couldn't find the buyer in the first place. Why would I list with you?
Well, if you lie to someone to get in, that means it's not like integrity comes and goes. You have it or you don't. So I appreciate your sensitivity to it. I don't believe in lying either. The issue is if they say, do you have a buyer? I might say, maybe, I don't know. I've not seen your home yet. Can I
That's what I say. Yeah.
Would that not be true?
No, it is true. But I mean, going with it, a lot of the times the preview, I've said FSBOs, and you're going in with intention and they're thinking and bringing a buyer, to where I want to make sure that they understand that I might, but I don't guarantee anything. But then how do they have trust in you being able to generate a buyer? Do you know what I mean?
Let me just make a call really quick with you. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, is this the owner of a Banana Hammock Road?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm Denny Grimes, Keller Williams, Naples, and I'm calling because I do a lot of work in the area. I do list homes. However, I am working with a number of buyers that like that area, particularly that school district. And I see your home is for sale. I have 2 questions for you. Number 1 is, are you willing to pay for the right offer? Are you willing to pay a real estate agent, a buyer agent fee if they bring you an offer that's acceptable to you?
Yes.
Awesome. And what is that compensation?
I'm willing to pay 1%.
You must be a sister of that other lady. All right. 1%. So, all right, 1%. Awesome. Secondly, I'd like to preview this because I have buyers here. I have buyers that are out of the area. So what would be the best time for me to pop by and walk through your home? You can show me the highlights of the home. I may take a couple of pictures if that's all right. If that bothers you, I won't. And we'll see if it meets my buyer's needs.
Okay. You can come by today at 6 o'clock.
Now, if you don't even have a buyer, you couldn't make a buyer happen if your life depended on it. Then don't say you have one. Just say our office works a lot and we're working with many buyers right now. I'm sure if your office isn't working with many buyers and that's not truthful, you might want to find another office. You never have to lie. Now, notice I said I list homes too. However, went right to the buyer. I found out if they're going to cooperate and if I can come by for a preview. Now, you didn't push back on me. You could have, well, why don't you bring your buyer with you? Well, the buyers asked, well, first of all, I have buyers out of the area. Does anybody have buyers out of the area? So anyway, and you know what? If they keep pushing back, they're going to have an open house. And here's the other thing. If they're pushing back, somebody tell me how that and why that is a blessing to you.
You get a peek behind the curtain, you know what you would be working with.
Okay, yes. And let's look at the other side of the glass that's half full. If they're pushing back on you, are they pushing back on other agents?
On every agent.
And
Yeah.
who has more skill and persistence?
Me.
So if they're pushing back on other agents, letting them in, most likely they're going to give up. That gives you the opportunity
Okay.
because most people don't believe in the follow-up. All right. I know there's some hands up. We've got
Denny?
time. Yes.
I had a quick question on that. I've had a lot of success getting into for sale by owners, and the whole objection that I have found most successful has been just to get the appointment. It isn't to have any other conversation. It's just that, as a real estate agent, it's my job to be aware of not only homes on the MLS, but also homes that are not on the MLS. Is it okay if I stop by and preview your home?
Okay. And so what level of success do you get on that?
Pretty much almost 100%.
Well, that's pretty simple. Then what level of success do you get that converted to a sit-down conversation that you can talk about what you do to list the home?
What I do when I get into the home is I create a problem presentation for them. And what I mean by that is I go in and I just say, hey, just by the way, how did you determine the pricing of your home? And whatever they say, I just go, And
Okay.
that always wants them to know why.
We'll take a minute. The other house around the corner sold for $6,000, and we have a bigger garage, so we're asking $650.
Okay, great. And I just have a quick question for you. Have you been receiving a lot of calls from investors who are looking to potentially buy your home for a penny on the dollar?
No.
Okay, great, because I find that is sometimes what happens. I have an interesting question for you that you can either decide to answer or not answer. Before you put your house on the market and put a sign in the yard, if somebody had come up to your house the day before and asked if they could walk through your home, would you have let them in?
I'd already made the decision to sell it.
Okay, here's the reason why I say that is because sometimes we don't know who we're letting into our homes. And so I find that a lot of times that having an agent represent either a buyer or you helps to protect your home from the possibility of something bad happening. And so I just like to just put that out there as a safety measure for you that, putting a sign in your yard and putting it advertised by yourself, you may not know who you're letting into your home.
That's an interesting question. It's a stab in the dark. And again, if you're having success at having meetings, then you're using that. Then my next question would be, and this is something we can work on as we get into another week, is that okay? The transition from the preview to the sit down and the conversion, how are you converting to the listing? So I appreciate you bringing that up. And that would be something I'd like to role play with you, because that question wouldn't faze me. Now, I'm a guy, I'm a bigger guy. So, I mean, that wouldn't faze me. Now, again, if you could read your audience, that might be one. However, I think before you said that are you concerned about the security factor of letting people in your home that you don't know? Now, I think sometimes before we solve a problem, we want to make them understand they have one. So I might lead with that question and say, well, whatever. So, but I think that's a great point. One that hasn't been brought up yet. So thank you, Sheila. All right. I think who's next? I know that we have Jenny. We have Louise with their hands up. So Louise, let's go. And Jenny, you're going to finish this off. You want it expired?
I do.
Oh my gosh. All right. So Sheila, you're going to be the expired. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, my name is Louise. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. Is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
Yes, and you're probably the 10th agent who has called me today.
Great, 10 is my lucky number. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
My name is Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. You probably know the reason for my call about your home, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, Sheila, I'm curious, what happened?
Well, it's off the market. My agent couldn't sell it, so we are just looking to either relist with our current agent or take it off the market.
Okay. And Sheila, if someone came and knocked on your door and gave you an offer today that you would have accepted last week, would you still consider selling it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sheila, is it worth 15 minutes of your time for the opportunity for you to be able to reach your goal in moving by meeting with me this afternoon at 4, or is 5 better?
Well, I think we're just going to contact our previous agent and, relist with her.
Sheila, what I'm hearing you say, and I respect that. I don't personally know your previous agent, but I would imagine since you're considering relisting with them, I'm sure he or she is a good agent. And at the same time, Sheila, since they had your house listed for 6 months and it didn't sell, I'd like to come by and meet with you for just 15 minutes before you make a final decision to relist with that agent, just to give you a second opinion and share with you what I do differently from other agents to get properties sold in today's market. Would 3 o'clock work for you today, or would 4 be better?
Yes, 3 o'clock works well for me.
Thank you. Did you recognize that script, Denny?
I was wondering if you could do that.
Of
John,
course I followed your advice.
John, I didn't see you there, so this would be perfect for you to offer a little feedback for Louise.
All right,
We
Louise.
have a
So,
minute to spare.
Louise, what am I going to bring up?
What do I do differently?
We talked about it this morning. What am I
I'm
gonna
ready for you.
Who said it? What
No,
was
I'm
that,
ready
Janet?
for you.
Keep going.
Voice inflection, Louise.
Okay.
Ask the questions stronger. Is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
That was the upswing. See, he's trying to have you get rid of the upswing.
Yeah.
Get rid of the upswings. It sounds
Weak.
weak.
Even though it's the
Alright.
natural way questions are asked. However, you guys are getting better results than me, so I will absolutely work on that.
Write your scripts out without a question mark.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that would help. Yeah.
That will help you. And in fact, when it's an end of a question, it should not be a question mark or a period. It should be ... So you just let it hang. Where were you going if you did sell?
Well, she got the appointment.
She got the appointment. I know.
I appreciate this helps me
Sheila was
grow.
easy.
I appreciate this. This helps me grow. So thank
This
you.
is why we
for
do
this
it, right?
input. Mhm.
Greg Luchak's in the room as Sherry Baracquio. I can't even say it. What's up, Greg?
So now let's reverse that. Jenny, you want to do what? And Louise can be your role play partner.
I don't know. I had two appointments and I had 2 weird objections not weird. I just didn't know how to approach it the right way. The first one was, I was just trying to go the route that, you don't need a listing agent just to put the sign in the yard. It wasn't expired. And then he started to say a whole thing was like, well, what if we do a FSBO? Would you be able to help us to do the stuff? I'm like, whoa. That's not where I was going. Like, I'm not trying to make you a FSBO. And then the second objection, the same guy had was, he was basic. Yeah, that, and I'm trying to remember. Okay. I don't remember which one it was.
Just take the one. Let's just take the
Yeah,
one.
let's do this one.
So do you want to be that quote FSBO?
Well, I was trying to tell him what I do differently from his other agent, and that's where he started taking it. Will you be able to help me if I go FSBO?
So we're sitting, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're in a listing presentation, correct?
Yes.
Set the timer. I'll do this. Ready to move forward?
Got
Jenny,
it.
Yes.
are you
Hello.
ready? Are you ready to move forward, Jenny?
Well, we were thinking maybe you can just help us, if we were to list the house on our own, and we will be able to, you maybe be able to help us negotiate. We'll of course pay you, not a problem, as a lower fee, but was hoping that you can, do that maybe.
Okay, well, let me get some clarity on that. So you want to list the house yourself?
Yes, we're thinking maybe we should just do that.
Other than wanting to list your house yourself, is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire me to work with you?
We're interviewing a few other agents. Whatever you said makes sense. We like what you're saying. We're just thinking, at your fee that you said, we can just list it for 50,000 less and still make more money.
Well, okay, so you said you're gonna interview other agents. So so how would we come to agreement? Is there any way we could come to agreement to work together today?
Well, we're gonna have to make a decision. We interviewed 4 people before you, and then we'll let you know. That's what he said.
All right, well, this is great. All right, so awesome. Let's just, this is where I'm going with it. So you've heard it before. So let me ask you, you want to list it on your own versus hiring someone like me? Are you, my first question is, what is your priority, making money or saving money?
Well, both.
Okay, and then what are you willing to pay the buyer? If I were to bring you a buyer, what are you willing to pay a buyer's agent?
Well, like I told you, I'm willing to pay you 5, and then I told him that, will you pay me 6% if I bring the buyer, and he agreed.
So if someone brings a buyer, you're gonna pay me 6%. We're in role play. You're gonna pay me 6%.
Yes, if you're gonna bring the buyer and you represent both of us, I'm willing to pay you a higher percent. Yes.
Well, what if they're just representing the buyer?
Well, we wanted to pay somewhere around 5. That's the agents that they're offering.
So you're going to pay 5%. So let me ask you that if the total fee is 6% and you're going to pay out 5%, you're going to go all this work, all the liability, just to put 1% in your pocket?
Oh, no, he was going to pay 2.5 to the buyer's agent, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, 2.5. So then you're attempting to save 2.5%, right?
Yes.
So what is the list price?
He expired at 825. I suggested 820 to 815. And then he said, I'd rather list it at 750 and save the buyer's agent fee, because then the seller agent fee, because then I'll pretty much pocket the same.
So, all right. So I'm sure I'm running out of time here. So he sounds like he's a kind of a complex gentleman.
Yeah.
And if he interviewed 4 people before you, he wants to interview people after you. There's a lot of red lights on my dashboard going off. However,
Okay.
it is a legitimate issue and I'll go through a couple quick steps here and we can kind of like put a bow in this. Okay. So you're attempting to save 2.5%.
Yes.
So let me ask you, you said you just lower to 750 and sell it fast. Do you want to just sell your house, get rid of it, give it away, or do you want to pocket more money?
I want to pocket more money.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you, you said you'd lower it to 750 and save $50,000, just sell it fast, right?
Yes.
Well, what if the market would bear more than that?
Well, we think we can get 750.
I get that, but what if you're leaving money on the table?
How would I know that?
Well, you wouldn't know until it's too late.
Right.
So what
What
I'm
are you
saying is,
suggesting?
if I were free, would you hire me?
Yes.
Then may I show you how I am free to you?
Okay. Yes.
Now I'm running out of time. Then I would start breaking things down on, okay, I mean, you look at, even we've got a gentleman on from 72 Sold. We do a lot. We just listed and sold a house yesterday from 72 Sold. There are methods out there where you can win by inches. You can actually, even with a flatter market, I mean, we don't have the same market going up like a gas pump. I almost say this every week. A great listing agent is free to a seller because on positioning, on interpreting the market, how to reposition, and if you're too high, how much to come down. I mean, my gosh, I mean, I just had a procedure. They had to stick a little thing in my heart yesterday. They had to do a little, what do they call that? Anyway, scope or whatever. I could probably watch a YouTube on that or two and figure out how to do it. Or you could do it. I maybe can't do it on myself because I'm knocked out. Can't be that hard. You just make a cut, stick a tube up my heart and, do something. It can't be that hard. Seriously, is there not a skill in what we do?
There is.
There is. So all you have to do is say, look, if I'm free, if I were free, would you hire me? If they say no, I would refer that one to someone you don't like. Any comments? We're getting close to the end. John.
Spot on, man. It's the same thing. I mean, at some point, you're going to be having a conversation with somebody that will bear no fruit no matter what you do. Which is kind of the nice way of saying, don't ever argue with an idiot because someone may not know who's who.
No,
Okay.
John, what's the 4-letter word in real estate?
Well, there's a lot of 4-letter words in real estate. We're being recorded.
Next.
I can't say most of them.
What is it, Jen?
Next.
Next, yes. There's a lot of power in being able to just step back and say, next, we're not a good match for each other. All right. Men and women have done that in the dating world forever. You can do it in real estate and live to tell about it.
So thank you, John. Did anybody have an aha today? Any V8 moments? What'd you have, Orlando?
You know, keeping it simple. And we do this in recon, and you and John critique and say, but there's no difference, right? It's just we overthink. I know for myself, trying to be sounding more professional than I am, just ask the simple question. And you did that multiple times today. So
Be you, dude. That's who they're hiring.
exactly.
Anybody else have an aha? Speak up. Arne.
Showing our value.
Writing my questions down without a question mark.
Nice. Anybody else before we go?
I had one that I have not used before and I loved it. I can't remember who said it, but would it surprise you to know? Just having that got my interest into hearing what that would be. So whoever said that, that was great aha for me.
What? Say that again.
Leading a question with would it surprise you to know?
Would it surprise you? No. That's great. Any more? One more before we go. Gene, do you have one?
Yeah, you know what I really learned from our interaction is to get a lot better at finding their motivation during the listing appointment, making sure that I really have a good grasp on that to be able to come back and nail that down later in the conversation.
Beautiful. Well, we appreciate you being on. This will be posted on the YouTube channel. If you're not a member, go subscribe to it. And if I could do anything for you. So by the way, who has a list of the hands up for our drawing today?
I texted it to John privately.
John, do you have it?
I do.
How many numbers? How many people?
8.
8. Jenny, pick a number from 1 to 8. You're muted. My lip reading's not too good.
Hold your space bar.
5.
There you go.
5 is better.
Janet.
Is it Jenny?
Janet.
Janet 1. Janet, you have to email me. Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Okay.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Jenny, email me. I owe you one.
Yes, I will right now.
Okay. Appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.